Monday Night Countdown at 5 Eastern tonight on ESPN. Meanwhile, the Bills pull off the upset at home against the Colts, 27-14. Tyrod Taylor orchestrated 3 TD drives. Their backs punched in a pair as well, and Buffalo's defense did the rest. The new-look Colts offense was limited to 148 yards and 9 first downs on its first 5 drives before scoring 2 touchdowns. That in the final 16 minutes. Luck was also intercepted twice. But, Skip, what we want to know here, was this game more about the Bills or Andrew Luck?
As in how bad Andrew Luck was? Mm-hmm. That's what I think it was, Stephen A. Mm-hmm. Even though I picked Buffalo to be a wild card team, even though on Friday I told you they would win this game, you agreed with me, but I said they'll upset the Colts, and in a few weeks you'll look back and say, you know what, that wasn't really that big of an upset. Maybe Buffalo's just better than Indianapolis. That's possible. Mm-hmm. I told you I think Andrew Luck's team is overrated. Mm-hmm. And by the way, those new additions, Frank Gore, 8 carries for 31 yards, mm-hmm. Andre Johnson, 4 catches for 24 yards. I don't think they had great impact on this football game. Gotcha. But I have heard so much about how great Andrew Luck is that I still have to put the onus for yesterday on Andrew Luck's shoulder pads, because I'm pretty sure, I didn't make this a scientific research, but I think he was the consensus preseason pick to win the MVP this year. Is that fair to say? That's all I ever heard. Yeah.
No.
That's all I ever saw.
No, I don't. MVP pick, I wouldn't.
But it was supposed to be a big year.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. This could be his year to really go far.
And I realized it was just one game, opening day. But Stephen A., we talked a few weeks ago on the show about Casey Joyner, the football scientist on ESPN.com, had done a breakdown of Andrew Luck's year last year and said he should have had far more interceptions than he even did have. And by the way, he had the second most total turnovers last year in the NFL to Jay Cutler, whom we will speak of soon on this show. Yes. But yesterday, Andrew Luck threw 2 interceptions that should have been 4 or maybe even, I'm trying to do glass half full here, maybe even 5. If you really want to look hard at it, he threw 3 other balls that were really up for grabs that the Bills had their hands on or had chances to come down with. So, again, his QBR 38.7 is pretty miserable by Andrew Luck standards. 38. And I keep saying on this show, I hear you. I call him Andrew Luck because he's a Luck first ballot Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. I just want to see it. Just show me. If you go up to Buffalo and you take apart Rex Ryan's new defense in Buffalo on opening Sunday, I'd say, wow, that was really big time. Mm-hmm. And it was small time. Once again, he lived down to my expectations because I keep saying, okay, I'm going to raise my bar, I'm going to raise my bar, and he ducks under my bar every time, and especially in the postseason. This was just season opener, but I find this indefensible. Now, again, if you want to come back and say this team is, frankly, overrated, but you picked him to get to the Super Bowl, so I'm trying to play off your pick here. You really like this team and you love this quarterback. So
I love their offense and I love that quarterback.
By your standards, I'm saying, wow, they really fell short. And now we keep hearing in the pregame shows a lot of early reports, Chuck Pagano's on the hot seat this year, but then the owner says after the game, nope, he's not on the hot seat. I don't know. It just seems like there's a little trouble in Luck paradise. That's what it feels like to me. They are a candidate for collapse here this year, even though their division, now Tennessee looked much better than I thought.
Yeah, they did.
So, but still, the division should be a veritable cakewalk for a team of this caliber, right?
I'm not going to even joke with you. I'm going to be very serious about a couple of things that I'm going to say, so stay with me here. I did some work on NFL Insiders yesterday and then NFL Countdown, and one of the things that
you did a great job, by the way.
I appreciate it. One of the things I felt comfortable about being there is because another piece of material that I have to prepare myself to deal with you. Mm-hmm. You understand? Because Lord knows you know your football. Mm-hmm. So in all seriousness, you're one of the biggest reasons that I could be on something like that because of what we work with you. Love you, bro. Mm-hmm. Let me say this to you. I thought about you a lot yesterday. I thought about you a lot yesterday. Even when I was hanging out in the control room to watch the games with Adam Schefter and Mort and Keyshawn and CeCe and all of these boys, and I had Herm Edwards up there teaching me about what defensive backs are doing, why the 4-3 is so much more important than the 4-5, all of this stuff, breaking it down.
That's what happened last night. You didn't have them last night.
That's right.
That's why you came with such bad opinions to start the show.
Not at all. Not at all. I did have them last night. I did have them last night. I'm just emotional right now because of them damn Giants. And you know how much I can't stand Cowboys, not because of the Cowboys, but because of dead Cowboy fans like you. Okay, having said all of that, getting back to the serious part of all of this.
Got it.
The Buffalo Bills were all over the Indianapolis Colts. As bad as Andrew Luck may have been, and what were his numbers, Skip, here? I'm looking at it right now. 26 of 49, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Just a 63 quarterback rating. Not that impressive. I give you that. But I'm not blaming Andrew Luck as much as you are. I'm going to blame Buffalo, and I'm going to blame Coach Chuck Pagano and Grigson and those boys running the front office.
So
Stay with me here.
Hot seat.
Stay with me here. Yeah, you know what? They are.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Let me break this down. That defense of the Buffalo Bills is no joke. I'm just trying to tell you right now. You knew that Rex Ryan was going to send the house. And that's what they did. Tyrod Taylor was spectacular.
And by the way, on Friday, you were iffy about him. You were
That's right. I said, no, we got to see. We got to see. But that brother showed up, and I give him a lot of props.
Through to Percy Harvin.
It was a beautiful pass. Beautiful 50, what was it, 57 yards? I mean, it was a beautiful pass, no question. But he just makes things happen. I can understand why Rex Ryan picked him over E.J. Manuel and Matt Castle. Just a beautiful move on his part because he's better than them. At least at this moment, he looks like he's better than them. But I'm going to tell you why. Outside of Buffalo's defense, and we all knew what they were going to be capable of doing. Skip, I had to write down these notes. I'm usually using my computer. You know, I had to write down a bunch of notes about this game. You got an offensive line that couldn't block.
That's a real reporter, Pat. I'm impressed.
You got an offensive line that couldn't block. You got a defensive line that couldn't pressure. Frank Gore had 8 carries for 31 yards. Why is that relevant, Skip? Because in the 55 games of Andrew Luck's career, do you know how many times he's had a 100-yard rusher for a game? Once. Is that not pathetic?
They usually call like 65 pass plays.
Because they know they don't have a running game.
Remember Trent Richardson? That was a disaster.
Come on, Skip. 55 games and a 100-yard rusher once in 55 games? I mean, that's just abysmal. That's just abysmal, all right? But I have more, okay? We got Andre Johnson. He drops the 2-point conversion. But he'll be all right. He's Andre Johnson. Tell you why Hilton goes down. That is not good news, all right?
Not.
You got first-half drives. Skip Bayless, three of their first 4 first-half drives starting inside their own 10-yard line. I mean, come on now. Everywhere you turn, you got an offensive line that can't block. You got your receiver, one receiver, your star's getting hurt. The other dude is dropping 2-point conversions. You have no running game. You can't get protected because Rex Ryan is sending the house. I mean, come on. And by the way, this is the 6th consecutive opening day loss they have had. All 5 on the road. Well, actually, 1 and 5 in their last 6 games in terms of season opening games. And they've lost all 5 road games. I'm looking at a person who's a very nice man. We had the pleasure of meeting him. We all know what Chuck Pagano has endured in terms of overcoming cancer. God bless him and his family. We wish him nothing but the best. I want this man to succeed as the head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. But I got to tell you, I'm really getting sick and tired of these guys coming up short every time they step away from the Indy against somebody outside of the AFC South. They ain't showing up. Now, you might look at Andrew Luck, but I'm like you, the quarterback. You got to protect them. You got to have some kind of a running game. You got to have dudes that know how to block. To put this guy, all they have is Andrew Luck. He's all they have. He is in his 4th year, and they still have not given this man protection or a running game. Now, I know that he's been sacked 100 times over his first 3 years. Now, it went down considerably for year 1 to year 2 to year 3, but it's still up there. The amount of punishment, and he's built to take it, but the amount of punishment that he has to take, come on. They got to do something for the kid. They got to do something for him. Skip, he doesn't, I mean, listen, he got receivers with Fleener, with Allen at the tight end spot, with T.Y. Hilton, now Andre Johnson. I get that. I'm talking offensive line. I'm talking running game. Skip, he doesn't have much, man. He doesn't have much.
So you're not putting it on Luck?
I'm not putting it, he deserves, so I'm not trying to completely absolve him. He's the quarterback. He's Andrew Luck. You got to figure out to do something. You can't be getting shut out in the first half. But it was Rex Ryan's defense he was going against. It was Rex Ryan's defense.
Right now, you were reminding me of Floyd Mayweather Jr. And we don't have time to talk about that thing that happened on Saturday night, that exhibition that he fought against Andre Berto. But I kept thinking as I watched
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay, but he kept treating Berto with such disdain during the fight, clowning him, just treating him like garbage. And I kept thinking, but Floyd, you chose to fight him. You were the one who picked him. So now I'm thinking the same thing about you. You are treating the Colts with such disdain, but you picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
Has that stance changed?
You know what? It hasn't changed yet, but it will if I continue to see what I'm seeing. Again, even though they got ramrodded, at the same time, I never expected their defense to be great. I just don't think the AFC is that great this year defensively. We got a bunch of offenses that can really put up points, and I believe that the Indianapolis Colts, led by Andrew Luck, can compete with anybody in that department with all their bodies healthy. Where you got me in terms of me picking them, I don't want to hear anything about their defense. Their defense was no surprise. What shocked me was the offensive line and how ill-prepared they seem to be as a team. Chuck Pagano has been the coach of this team long enough. Griggs and those boys have been presiding over this franchise in the post-Peyton Manning era. They should be better than this. They should be better. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe the golden child quarterback should be better. I don't know.
I believe in Andrew. I will tell you right now, Andrew Luck did not have a good day yesterday. I'll give you that. I believe in Andrew Luck. I have no questions, regardless of his mistakes. I have no questions about what Andrew Luck can be in his NFL career. But I'm assuming you're going to have people to block for him. I'm assuming you're going to have some semblance of a running game. Frank Gore, 31 yards? 31 yards? You came from San Francisco for that?
That's what happened with Trent Richardson. Hey, this Bills offense better than I expected, just like the Rams and the Titans as well. So we're going to have a lot of context and moving forward because the Bills host the Pats. So we'll get to see how Tom Brady does against that Bills defense, how legit. And then the Colts face the Jets. So Andrew Luck gets another shot at a really good defense. See if they can get it together.
No Cromartie, though.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah, huge loss there.
That's true.
Johnny Football makes his 2015 debut against